Welcome back once again to HEAVEmedia.com's Take It or Heave It. I'm Wes Soltis, editor-at-large of HEAVEmedia.com, where you can currently go and read our newest interview with British Sea Power.
And I'm Ryan Peters. I'm an associate editor at HEAVEmedia.com.
In this week's version of Take It or Heave It, we don't really have a theme.
No, last week we had all the albums that we reviewed all the bands I should say, started with the letter G. This week we got nothing. It's a mismatch of everything.
It's just three indie albums, and let's just get right to it.
All right.
The first album we're going to review is Born Ruffians. The album's called Red, Yellow, and Blue. Came out March 4th on Warp Records.
Yeah. Most of you are probably going to know Born Ruffians. If you do know them, they got real famous out of Canada a couple years ago after they covered the Grizzly Bear song Knife.
I love the Born Ruffians album. I thought Badonka Donkey was A, clever song title, and B, just a good song in general. It sounded like Clap Your Hands, Say Yeah meets a dirty garage sounding Belle and Sebastian. I loved it. I'm keeping it.
That's funny because I think that you actually smell kind of like a dirty, more garage sounding Belle and Sebastian. Just kidding. As far as the Born Ruffians goes, I was not as big a fan of this album. I thought it sounded like Clap Your Hands, Say Yeah, but it just didn't have as much texture to it and not as much depth or variety. It's like the same song 11 times over, and it's really only good for the first, 5 or 6. So I'm going to go ahead and heave the Born Ruffians album.
The next album we're going to look at is Beach House Devotion. Came out February 26th. It's on Car Park Records.
Right. You can go to the website, you can go to www.heavemedia.com and check out the full review of the Beach House album that I wrote. It's up there now. I
thought Devotion was a pretty boring album. There was way too much organ on it, and if I wanted to hear that much organ, I would go to church. I am heaving it.
I actually, as far as the Beach House album goes, I was a little bit more mixed about it. Wes, I know you really didn't like it. I was in the middle. I like some of the, it's like dream pop. It's got a lot of synth, a lot of organ in it. It's the type of thing that Wes likes to listen to when he fires up a blunt and watches The Matrix and just skips out and work for a week and a half.
Not true.
Yeah. But it does start to get really, really similar and really boring. Unfortunately, which is a shame because they got a lot of, they got 2 talented people in the band with a lot of potential. So hopefully I like the next album a little bit more, but I'm going to go ahead and heave Devotion from Beach House.
The next album we're going to review is Earth, The Bees Made Honey on the Lion's Skull. It came out February 26th on Southern Lord Records.
Right. Little interesting tidbit about Dylan Carlson, the lead singer of Earth. He was actually, they used to be signed to Sub Pop, and he was really, really good friends with Kurt Cobain. He actually gave Kurt Cobain the gun that Cobain later used to, kill himself with. I don't think he gave it to him like that day, but he gave him the gun.
I also don't think the intentions were there for that to happen, but I'm sure Dylan has a hard time living with that little tidbit. Anyway, I usually like instrumental music. I really love Explosions in the Sky and the fucking Champs. However, I was not a big fan of Earth. I thought it all sounded the same, and I went back a couple times and was hearing the same part over and over again, and I understand it's like a variation of a theme, but it just came off really as boring more than anything. I am heaving it.
I actually like the album by Earth. The title of it, the Bees Made Honey in the Lion's Skull, comes from a biblical story about Samson, this guy with incredible strength who was walking down the street, found a lion, like an Asiatic lion, ripped it open with his bare hands, and then later on he found the carcass and there were bees making honey in the skull, which has happened to most of the people that I know, including me, twice. Couldn't fucking believe it. But the album's real good. The music is, it's really dense. It's kind of cinematic. It could be the soundtrack for a movie, or it could just be something you could put on in the background, if you want to fall asleep, if you're taking a drive somewhere. So if you like instrumental music, I think you'll like this one. I found it interesting enough, and I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna keep that album. I like it.
So to recap, Born Ruffians, Red, Yellow, and Blue. I am keeping it. Ryan over here is heaving it. Beach House Devotion, we are both heaving.
Get out of here.
And Earth, I am heaving, Ryan is keeping.
Keeping it.
That'll do it for this week's edition of Take It or Heave It. For Ryan, 4-Minute Mile Peters.
And for Wes, Wolfman Jack Soltis.
HEAVEmedia.com, music and culture for the open-minded. Thanks to the Polish Ambassador for creating our theme music. For more info, check out thepolishambassador.com.